The purpose of living is to live a life of purpose. Awesome. He is a doctor by education, entrepreneur by inspiration, and lifestyle expert by profession. Father of a lovely daughter, husband to a superwoman. He is on a mission to help 1 million diabetics live happily. What an amazing personality. He enjoys trekking in leisure time. He is one of my unsung heroes for today's episode, which is all about love for humanity. Please, ladies and gentlemen, my awesome listeners, welcome my guest of honor, Dr. Aleem, for today's show with me, Nafisa, at Basics to Bloom podcast. Welcome, Dr. Aleem, in my show today.
Thank you so much for your kind words. And it's my pleasure to be a part of your amazing journey, which you are showing in the form of podcast to all of us.
Oh, thank you so much. So, how has been your day today? I know you are a doctor and thank you for giving time. You must be having busy schedule, but still, how was your day?
Uh, my day was good because it's the starting of week, little bit busy, but I think we doctors are very overrated saying that we are always busy. Everybody is busy. It just depends on priorities, what you want to do and what you do not want to.
Completely, I agree. Yes, I also don't like listening. I'm busy. I'm busy. Come on, we have everybody is busy, right? Awesome. So tell us, me and my listeners, something about your journey, how this happened in your life. I mean, have you dreamt ever to become a doctor, or it just happened as, by the grace of God?
So I come basically from countryside. So my father is a lawyer and my mom is a school teacher. Both had great inspiration on me from the beginning. So from the beginning, I was not a very smart kid. So although I was not a backbencher, but something happened during my ninth and 10th. Then I topped my 10th exams
Oh,
and was awarded by the government of AP back then, Pratibha Award. Then I did my plus two, and it is actually because of my father, I think I became a doctor because he really wanted to become one, but due to his financial abilities, he couldn't become. So I think he made me more than I made myself.
wow, that's awesome. Lovely journey. So, whatever you are today, you give the credit to your father. That's it, right?
Yes,
Amazing.
and of course my teachers.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, of course, your effort was there 100%. It was there. So, let's begin with the question and answer session. I hope you're okay with that. All right. So, tell me and my listeners, what are the best resources that have helped you all the way along? However you are right now.
First and foremost, from the beginning, I had this hobby of reading. I read from fiction, non-fiction, and everything. In school days, I used to remember there were hardly any books in our library which I didn't borrow and which I did not read. So when this journey with books started, there are many things that open up in your mind because I have already been reading throughout, and I always believe that books are the best sources of knowledge. Now, the thing that happens is books are written by authors who have concised their entire lifetime journey into a 200 or 400 pages book. So then, after reading, the most important thing I believe is nothing teaches more than the human beings. Even today, like you had asked me what my typical day is every day, I feel I learn every day from each of my patients because each patient is different and each patient has his own persona and he brings a completely different aspect of life.
Wow.
To give a small example, today one of my patients was a diabetic patient who owns a poultry milk dairy farm. So he told me how there are different brands of milk which are going in market and which one is the best for all of us. I would
Wow.
not take the name of the brand over here,
Okay.
but this is how I learn from each and every patient of mine.
Great. Awesome. I mean, Really, you are interacting people every day, every new people. So there will be definitely lots of learning. You will be enhancing your knowledge. That's amazing because we learn from them only. Correct. So my next
The
question is
second thing is I always believe is learning is living. If you stop to learn, you stop to live.
exactly, absolutely true. So my next question is, what's one thing you wish you had known when you began your career? I mean, if you look back, you think that, oh my God, I should have done that one also. I mean, I'm not telling that apart from medical, you should have done that, but now that you are in medical, what is that one point that you miss you should have done earlier?
I think two things.
Okay, please.
First, I think if I'm not a doctor, I think I would be an author or a speech writer, something.
Okay.
And second thing, I think I should have chosen an army doctor job before starting on my own hospital.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, I also love the, our Indian army. Not Indian army, I mean everywhere, wherever the soldiers are. uh, If we can help these people, they are giving their life, their entire dedication is for us, their life is for us. So we can also contribute a little bit to them. You
Yeah,
have
and
very kind heart. Yeah.
yeah, second thing is I actually have lots of army friends, and I have been to Armed Forces Medical Colleges, which is in Pune, for
Okay.
conferences. So the way they interact, the way the discipline is maintained, all these things, I think army should be made at least 1 year compulsory for all of us Indians,
Yeah.
because it not only will help Indian Army to get more soldiers, but also give in us a different person altogether, how to discipline your life and take it forward.
Absolutely. I salute you for this. Absolutely. Awesome.
Can I add one more incident at
Yeah, of
AFMC?
course.
So this was during our undergraduate days where I had gone to AFMC, and it was Ramadan at that time. So normally what happens is when we fast, when we travel abroad or anywhere else, because nobody gets up at 4 a.m. and cooks for you, we either eat leftover dinner or we take some bread and jam for fasting. But I was completely amazed by the dedication which AFMC or Armed Forces shows not over towards its students and guests. There were, I think, hardly 15 or 20 people who were fasting on that day, but you would not believe that was one of the best fasting breakfast I ever had on my life.
Oh my
They made
God.
like everything was hot and piping, everything was ready. This is where I think army brings altogether a different persona of life for every one of us.
Yes, that's they are completely different human being. I have lot of respect for them. Yes, that's true. Okay, moving on to the next. This is, quite relevant for what we are going through. Like how you dealt with the current situation, which is COVID-19 situation, your inspiring saga, because you are doctor, you are our savior. So, uh, how you have, what is the inspiring story behind how you have come across this COVID-19 situation?
Okay, so first and foremost, we doctors are always called in the media as the frontline warriors of COVID, which I beg to differ, because I think we are the last line of warriors. Because first it is you who should take care of yourself, and then your environment, and then your family. When all these things fall apart, then the role of doctors come into life. So, and second thing regarding this COVID, although this COVID had many unfortunate incidents, I think there were some really fortunate and inspiring things which happened during this COVID. I have seen my own staff and my own friends, like we were wearing PPEs for 14 to 16 hours a day, and you all of us know how PPE is. You cannot take it off once you wear it, and you were carrying it for a long time, especially during hot summers. You were sweating inside, you cannot go to washroom and all these things. But the joy lies in the person who smiles when he gets discharged and says thank you. That is what every doctor or every healthcare personnel was waiting for.
Wow.
Although there were many unfortunate incidents, like I myself was quarantined twice, for coming in contact with a COVID person, and but things go well because at Shakespeare said, "All is well that ends well."
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, one more question I have related to this COVID. So, suppose one person is already a COVID positive, and he has been now after 14 days of quarantine and all those things, he is recovered. He is now COVID negative after the test. So, what are the chances that he can again get that? I mean, the antibodies will be there for how many more days?
Now, the earlier studies were showing that the antibodies were lasting at least for 6 months. But now, unfortunately, because this UK strain has come, there are reports from Tata Memorial Hospital which are showing that these antibodies are not being shown for this new strain.
Oh.
And because we don't have conducive data, especially in Indian population, regarding antibodies, we mostly are testing through PCR test, which detects the antigen. I hope I'm not getting too much technical over here.
No, no, it's at least I am okay because I am a microbiologist.
Okay.
So it's
So let
fine
us
for me.
not worry about the antibodies and all these things. If the person is not symptomatic, then there is no problem. And let me also make it emphatically clear that COVID is doesn't have more than 1% of mortality in elderly population especially. So even if 100 people contract COVID, it only 1% has a chance of being dead. So let us not worry more about it. And then I think slowly we are building community immunity and many things are coming. And now with the vaccine, I think we are hitting back to normal.
Yeah, I hope so. Inshallah, that will happen soon. Okay, thank you for that, awesome insight about COVID. Moving on to the next. Who are the three people who have been the most influential in your life so far?
Oh, I have like many people.
I know, yeah, but if you feel like you can name three at least, or you can name more also.
Right? So let me start with my father. And then, of course, my wife, Dr. Benazir, and my father is Mohammad Shafiuddin. And third personality, I think somewhere or the other, I think Mahatma Gandhi is an inspiration to people of all generations and people of all professions. Because no matter how many times you read his autobiography, My Experiments with Truth, there is always some new insight which is coming on with that book and with that person.
Okay.
And one more thing is, let us just understand it for a second that that man neither was the richest person at that time, nor was an emperor or a king of any continent or a country, nor was the most brilliant scientist or an poet or anything. He just was a person who could connect with an emotions. And I think that is what is required most, especially now with the all of our emotion intelligence going down and down.
Yes. I truly I have not read that book, but yeah, he is an influential person. That is why he is called father of nation in India. Of course, he has done so much for us. Yeah, true. I wish if I could take his interview someday.
No,
But
you should visit someday Sevagram and other places at Gujarat. You will understand. And if
yeah, sure.
you should go to Rajghat also.
Yeah,
Then
I have been to Rajghat, but not the Gujarat area. Yeah, sure. Thank you. So, moving on to the next thing. Tell us about a patient. This is my favorite question for you. Tell us about a patient that touched your heart or changed your practice.
I think there were two patients actually.
Go ahead, please.
One was during my PG days when I was in training. I was for a brief time in Gandhi Hospital. So what happened was at that time there were not so many equipment which were there in the hospital, and then there is always a mad rush at Gandhi Hospital, as all of us know, because Usmania and Gandhi are the two hospitals which are like the tertiary care, and if nothing happens, all of them are referred over there. So now this happened because a young man was around like 30, 35, and he was having severe chest pain,
Oh,
and the ICU was full. So there were no monitors actually. So he was wrenching in pain. We did whatever we could. We tried our best, but we couldn't get enough resources for him, and unfortunately, we couldn't save him.
oh,
So this left a very deep impact on me. Like, no matter what you do, our country will always struggle for resources.
mm,
So from then on, I think that making a system is more important than rather just increasing the number of doctors or anything. For to give you an example, like every year the number of vehicles grow in our country or
yeah,
Telangana. So the real answer is not to build more number of roads, because the more number of roads you build, then more number of vehicles will also come upon.
correct.
So it's not the solution to that problem. So now the government has started something like metro, MMTS, and all these things. So to ease the congestion. Similarly, I also am deeply interested in something called lifestyle medicine, especially with my diabetes practice. So what I believe is, with the advent of new food products and especially processed food and our lack of exercise and sedentary lifestyle, all of us are shifting towards something of a new pandemic, which is a diabetes, where obesity is also increasing and diabetes is also increasing.
Yes.
I remember when I was in my school, hardly 2 out of 10 of my classmates would be obese, or what we call fatso. Now, when I go to my daughter's school, I think it is the other way around. Two of them are normal, the other eight are obese.
Obvious, yeah.
So, unless we address this issue at this level by lifestyle changes like proper diet and taking good amount of exercise and having certain stressless life, I think just building the number of hospitals and putting the number of drugs would not solve the problem. And
Absolutely.
second thing is, it happened at this place. So this was a diabetic patient, and because I practice in countryside, I do not have liberty to do all the investigations which I want to my patients, because most of them are not uh, affordable for these tests. So this patient was coming to me for an year, and I was checking her sugars regularly, and they were in control. But something happened her for the 2 months, and she was not coming, and she had gone to another hospital where they detected that she had some CKD problem or kidney problem.
Oh,
So I always find myself on crossroads whenever I'm examining in a patient and whenever I'm ordering any investigations. Because on one side, I have a patient who cannot pay a small amount for getting this test, and the other hand, I have this patient who had to go on dialysis because one test was not done at proper time. So I
mm,
carry these two patients with me every day, and I hope these things will not repeat in my life in future.
yeah. So I think medical line and driving, some of the things are like they are case studies. We learn from them.
And the
Lot of
margin of error is so small in our medical practice, as you may know. Like, for example, an architect or an engineer, he can redraw the line or he can rebuild it after demolishing. But
correct.
once you miss a diagnosis, we
Yeah,
lose a
it's
life.
gone. Yeah,
And
it's
when you
very
lose a life, the family is the suffering. And it's not about only the one person.
correct. Yeah, I think, I mean, how honestly you have come across the things, your learnings. Awesome. Very nice. So, with this, I just end up two more questions I have, like where our listeners can connect you if they want to connect to you. I mean, any social media platforms or any other uh, area. I mean, yeah, please share on them.
Okay, so two things. Firstly, I am into research in diabetes. So if any doctor or any medical professional wants to connect to me with me for any reforms in healthcare or any research or anything, then they can come to my LinkedIn platform. Just go to LinkedIn and you can type Dr. Ali Mohammed. I think you will get me. And I think I will also be sharing my Linktree description for all
Yeah,
the
I will
users,
be.
so that it will be easier. And for all patients, we have an initiative called Alak. Me with a few of my doctor friends, around 5 to 6, or cardiologists, nephrologists, and from different streams of medicine, we have started India's first virtual hospital, especially during COVID times when it was difficult for patients to go to hospital. So you can visit alak.com, which is a virtual clinic. There you can have free consultations. We have been doing consultations from all parts of the world, especially teleconsultations. It is absolutely free. You need not pay anything. And for anybody else who wants to come trekking to me, then they can shoot me a message on my Facebook. I will be always be ready.
Where you go for trekking, by the way, I am interested. Even my husband is. So where you go?
There is a play group called Hyderabad Travelers, which is done with my good friend Mr. Bharat. So he takes us to places and places. I am very
Oh,
fortunate that I have been to Himalayas and southern parts also.
wow, great. Someday we'll join, definitely, for sure. So, to end with any message for my listeners.
I think you are overrating me by calling, by giving me any message to listeners. I just want to say you as a friend that the COVID has taught us many things. Two things which are very important, I think, is no amount of wealth will save your health. So please take care of it. And second thing is no amount of stress or anything can buy your family time. So always respect your family. And the two things which I would like to say is, first thing is we always value something before having it and after losing it. You can come to my hospital and you can see how much my patients value their health just because they get into the hospital. And I'm sure most of them neglected before coming to the hospital. So let us not neglect our health. And I also think that the best thing in our life, like our health, our love, our family, and our friends, always come for free. And we often turn to neglect them just because they come for free. And we go for materialistic things like buying new cars, houses, which come for a cost and which also give you a stress. And second thing which I would like to end is what you started with is the purpose of living is to live a life of purpose.
Yeah, awesome. It's really lovely to interact with you. I am feeling like, oh my God, what an amazing personality you are. Very kind, honest, and very humble, down to earth. That is why I came up with this concept of my unsung heroes, because I know you people like you need to be appreciated, and already you are, but then the world should recognize everyone, such type of people. I mean, you all are the real heroes, not the one we see on screen, and we waste our money over there, our time over there. They are just time pass things. You people deserve actually to be honored in that way. So thank you so much, Dr. Alim, to come up, give me your valuable time. I won't take much time now, but yeah, I surely we will connect some other time as well, and I'll surely join you for trekking someday. And apart from that, thank you, and thank you, my dear listeners, for listening. And I will be keeping all the descript all about Dr. Alim and his hospital and whatever what all noble work he is doing. I'll be uploading that as well in my description. If you wanna connect with him, please go and connect with him. He is an amazing personality, always free and helpful. Of course, not free, but yeah, helpful. But then kind, yeah. That is what kindness is much required now. That is why I named my today's episode as love of humanity, because doctors, they are love for humanity. They have that kindness and love towards humanity. So to end with, I'll say, wherever the art of medicine is loved, there is always a love of humanity. This has been said by Hippocrates.